Alright, hello YouTube. I thought I'd work on the wheel while I talk a little bit. I talked to a few artists, professional, and many of them have some other side gig, day job sort of deal. It's very hard to be a 100% artist in this world. Unless you work for somebody, like you could be a graphic designer, or you could be an illustrator for, I talked to an illustrator who did a lot of pharmaceutical ads. Sure, that's how you can make money, but just doing your own art in the world in galleries is hard. So if you're thinking about doing it, keep that in mind. Keep in mind that you do have to have a plan. Now, you have to have some kind of backup or way to support yourself. Lifestyle choices. Like I said, I did this because I knew I wanted to raise my kids myself. I have at least one parent home with them. And I knew I wanted something practically, that I could take with me and all that. But also, a little side effect of doing this was I actually have a job I like. A lot of people don't have jobs they like. They work for money. They work for that paycheck. And I'm telling you right now that isn't necessarily the most fulfilling thing you can do with your time. You're only on this planet a short period of time. 100 years if you're lucky. And there's only a short time where you're actually in a position to experiment and change careers. And in your 20s, you're young enough and on your own to really do what you want. I think that's a good time to experiment. Good time. Don't worry about jumping your career if it's not what you love to do. And if you're lucky enough to find what you love to do, and you're doing it, and you're 20, that's great, man, because you're going to get a jump on everybody, and that's awesome. And I thought I had that with TV. I started in TV when I was 13. And I went to school, and I got out, and I was the youngest in the places that I was working. And I had more expertise than people twice my age. But I didn't have a passion for it, which I didn't understand until later. You have to love what you do. So I think, just like in a relationship, man, if the relationship is kind of mediocre, don't stay in it. Get out and get yourself a better relationship. If a job is mediocre, start looking. You don't have to quit right away. I don't actually advise just quitting, because then you don't have any money. You got to have security, man. You got to be able to take care of yourself. But it doesn't mean you got to be unhappy. It doesn't mean you can't change. Don't stagnate if you're unhappy. So, happiness. Do what you love doing. Now, maybe a logical question that would follow, since it appears that I'm doing what I love doing. I got a family, I got a beautiful daughter. I have all the freedoms that comes with being self-employed. I get to do what I love, making art and being creative. Am I happy? I think I'm pretty good. I get times where I'm kind of depressed and bummed out. I'm not happy all the time, and I kind of wonder sometimes why. It's obviously an internal perception. Happiness is not based on external factors. That's a truth. It is all in your mind. Key is internal. You have to be happy inside. The external stuff is not created. So because of that, there are times certainly where I'm not happy. I'm depressed, or for whatever reason. And I got to work on that. That's all internal. It's all inside me. Not having the stress of a job, being able to do what I do, helps a great deal. And being able to do what I love, it's very freeing. One advantage that I love about my job, my stay-at-home dad, my lack of a job, whatever, is that I'm no longer in a hurry. It's one of the things that I notice when I quit working. I don't rush around, man. I go at the pace I need to go at to get the pace that it is. One of the Zen way of thinking is to accept what is rather than what should be. One of the biggest problems is we have expectations about what should be. And when life doesn't fall into that convenient thing, you're unhappy. Whereas if you accept what is, and just accept it, or at least acknowledge it, and move from there, happiness can follow a little easier. Like if I think I should be able to throw a better pot, I'm going to be disappointed with everything I throw. If I just accept that what I throw is what I throw, and that's where I'm at, and I accept the fact that I can also improve, rather than hold myself up to any kind of false preconceived notion of what should be, I'm going to be happier. I'm not going to be disappointed constantly. And so sometimes I have to internally look at my life and say, I got it pretty good. What is this bout of depression? And you might be just depressed, but again, it's what it is. It's not right or wrong. So maybe you have no logical justification for why you're feeling shitty. But you can look at the reason you're feeling, you can look at the fact that you're feeling shitty and say, you know what, I am feeling shitty. It's no should. It's not that I should be feeling good. I am feeling shitty. And I think that's a good point. Once you are able to do that, you can then say, why? What is there causing me to be feeling this way? Can I change it? And usually what happens with me is you feel shitty for a little while, but it fades and you get back. Oh, but yeah, not being in a hurry. So that ties in the whole thing about it just takes you time. When you're at the store and the person ahead of you is like paying in pennies, you're not going to, being upset isn't going to make that line go any faster. Wishing things were different than they are, that should be different, that line should be moving faster, that lady should have just paid with cash or a check or something and moved on. Those are false. It is what it is. You are what you are. The world is the way it is. You either accept it and deal with it, or you're unhappy with it. If you try to conform it to your own sense of what it should be, you're going to be disappointed time and time again. So once I had that freedom to just sort of not be in a hurry, it was interesting. And I'd go to McDonald's and I'd wait 5 minutes for my food because maybe the fries weren't done. And they were all apologetic. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, man, do I look upset? I don't care. I'm just standing here. I don't have any place to be. Even if I did have a place to be, getting angry isn't going to make me get there any faster. Those fries cook at their own given rate. I chose to go to McDonald's knowing full well that I might be late. And if I'm late, I'm late, man. Deal with it. If people are mad, then that's their own problem because they had false expectations of what things should be. Can't always keep that Zen attitude, but it's a good one to try to strive for. Happiness is inside you. This video is probably long enough. Don't know if I covered what I want. It's hard to keep a train of thought when I'm doing this, and when I don't script it out. So I apologize for that. So until next time, bye.